Everyone knows who's looking for an entry-level BDR, SDR role, how saturated the job market is, and that the job market sucks right now. You probably also read somewhere on LinkedIn that you need to be reaching out to the hiring managers with a tailored messaging approach in order to stand out from the hundreds of applicants for that job listing. The problem is, the jobs with the hiring managers included in the job posting are the ones with hundreds of applicants. So the real question is, how can I find the hiring manager if they're not listed in the LinkedIn job posting? I was able to stand out against thousands of applicants and land an entry-level BDR or SDR role at a corporate level within 60 days by finding the correct hiring manager and targeting my outreach to them. By the end of this video, you're gonna have 3 proven methods that nobody is leveraging in order to find the correct hiring manager for any role you apply to. Now, the first out of the 3 tips I'm gonna be sharing is going to be the best use of your time, and that's gonna be by booking a demo with a sales rep or a conversation. Now, in order to book a demo with a company, you're going to need to have a company email, which is just an email without a Gmail or Yahoo domain, and you need a custom domain. Now, if you don't have one already, don't worry, I'm gonna show you how to get one for extremely cheap. So come over to Neo and go to the top to where it says get started for free, and click I need a new domain name. Get started with this, type in all your information. It doesn't really matter what the domain name is because you're just gonna be using this to book demos. Come through with the process, click the cheapest selection you can, and then type in all your billing information. And once you're on the inside, I'll see you there. Now that we're here, come over here and click the Gmail button and then add your personal inbox here. Once you've added it, come up to preferences and then go over to forwarding and add your email to the forward emails out section. This will allow the meeting invitations that get sent to this inbox to get forwarded to your inbox so that you can then reply there. Now, right after you book the demo, like I said, you're gonna get an email confirmation with a meeting link, and the rep that's gonna run the demo is gonna be included on that email. You wanna reply immediately with something along the lines of this. Hey, John, I booked a demo with you for tomorrow, 11-4 at 2 p.m. PST, and I wanna be completely honest with you, I'm not looking to buy the product. Instead, I'm looking to discuss the open BDR position I just applied for in the San Francisco office, and I'd love to learn some more from an insider's perspective. If things work out and Salesforce hires me, you're more than welcome to say that you referred me to apply if they're offering you a bonus. Thank you for your time in advance, and I hope to hear back soon. Best regards, and then insert your professional signature, which if you don't have one, I made a short video here you could watch. This email domain only costs $20 for 2 years. If you just don't eat lunch out tomorrow, this will cover the cost completely. And it's actually very important that you do this step because it's gonna be harder for a sales rep to cancel the meeting on their calendar as opposed to just holding it and helping you out. Now, I know some of you guys are already living as frugally as possible and you don't have the extra $20 to spare. So if that's you, don't worry. You can still get some time with the sales rep by hitting them up on LinkedIn. It just won't be as effective. So if you're gonna do it this way, hit connect and send it with a personalized note. And that message might sound something like this. Hey, name, I'm looking to apply for the open BDR position in the San Francisco office, and I wanted to get some information on the company from an insider's perspective. I'd be more than appreciative if you could spare 15 minutes of your time to answer some of my questions. I'm not sure if your company offers a bonus to employees who refer a new hire, but if so, you're more than welcome to say that you referred me. Now, once you're actually speaking to the sales rep, you want to ask the questions I'm about to highlight. Now, the goal of this video is obviously to find the hiring manager, to run targeted outreach to land the interviews, and ultimately land the job. Now, if you don't know what to send them in the emails or when you're cold calling them to land the interview, I have a step-by-step guide with a cadence that I used with email templates and cold calls in order to land interviews and ultimately land my job, and many others have also used this template. So if you want these templates, feel free to click the link in the description. Now, going into the interview, you want to be as prepared as possible. And by asking the following 7 questions, you will learn everything you need to know about the company going into the interview within 15 minutes, as opposed to the hours it would take to find this information accurately. I'm gonna list these off rapid fire, but I'll also put them up on the screen so you can write them down. Who makes the decisions for this role / who is the right recruiter for this role? What can I expect in the first round interview? Who is your target market / ideal customer profile? This question is very important because you're gonna use this in the first email in the template I included. What's your selling proposition / what separates yourself from the competition? Who is your competition? What sales tools do you use to prospect? What is the culture and management like? Have you ever seen a BDR get promoted to account executive? And if so, how long did it take and what did it take? And last but not least, would you be open to referring me to the hiring manager? Now, tips number 2 and 3 don't require any setup other than just having a LinkedIn profile. And it's tempting to use in place of tip number 1 initially because they require a little less work. I just want you to know that by having the conversation with the sales rep, you're not only going to understand who the right hiring manager is 100% every time, but you're also going to save yourself hours in preparation before the interview, as I mentioned. That said, let's go right into tips number 2 and 3. Tip number 2 will find you the right hiring manager 100% of the time if you can find a sales rep that posted an appreciation post shouting out the hiring manager when they got hired. It's very common, but it's not guaranteed for this to happen. So to find these sales reps, go to their company tab and go to the people page. And if it's a hybrid or in-office position, start specifically exactly where that city is. Now, if it's a remote position or a smaller startup, just click within the United States because sometimes the hiring manager for the SF office will work in New York. Whatever it is on the job description, type in the exact job title in the keyword search under the people tab. And as you can see, there's 171 candidates that fit this description. Now, to streamline this, try and scroll through all 171 of them and click with 2 fingers and hit open in new tab when you find an SDR with the title that you're looking for. After opening up all the SDRs, click out of the ones that are just hired like 2 or 3 years ago and keep the most recent ones. Now, for sake of this video, I already did this and I found Zachary Wilson, who was hired 2 months before the date of me making this video. So let's say you went through this process, you're gonna go down to their experience section and see how long they've been working there. Zach's been working here for 2 months. So I'm gonna go up to his posts now and scroll down to around the time he got hired. As you can see, Zachary posted an appreciation post shouting out his manager who hired him, and that's gonna be the person I'm reaching out to in my tailored outreach. Now, tip number 3 is the least accurate, but also the least time consuming. This should really be used as a last resort if you can't find the hiring manager through tip number 1 or 2. Now, under the people tab on their company page, we're gonna try to find someone related to that role that can refer us to the hiring manager if it's not them themselves. Same thing with the filters. If it's a hybrid or office location, put the city. If it's a remote role or a smaller startup, just put within the United States. And you're gonna search for maybe a VP of sales, then go to SDR or BDR managers, then recruiters, then people that have we're hiring badges on their LinkedIn profiles, then HR employees. Do it in that order. A pro tip here, if you start at the top and reach out to the VP of sales and he refers you down to the SDR manager that's hiring for this role, you're more likely to get the interview because his boss just told him to interview you. And he probably knows that the boss is going to follow up in a week or so asking that manager how the interview went. Now, once again, it's very important to keep the long-term goal in mind because you don't want to waste your time by putting the wrong hiring manager in your cadence. I made a little visual here showing you how this might affect you negatively. Let's say the first day you use tip number 3 and spend about 15 minutes finding someone that you don't know is the hiring manager. You send them an email, you give them a call, and then on day number 3, you find out they're not the right person. And on day number 4, you put them in your cadence, the right person for the first time. Now, example number 2, we use tip number 1, and we spend about an hour total finding who the right hiring manager is. And we're 100% sure that that's correct because the sales rep told us that. Now, by day 3, you're on the phone with them and you're pitching them the interview and you land it. So on day 4, instead of emailing the hiring manager for the first time, you're interviewing for that company. As I mentioned, you guys, if you want some help emailing your hiring managers, I have a proven guide in the link below. It's completely free. Feel free to click that link. And if you found this video insightful, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.